What's up guys, it's me 3, the YouTuber who only seems to wake up when there's Hytale news, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going through the latest Hytale news drop, the Summer 2022 development update. Let's get right into it. To start off, the Hytale team talks about how they're switching their engine from C# to C++. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, Minecraft's infrastructure runs on C#. So when Hytale was initially being created and it was just Minecraft modders and Hypixel devs, it made a lot of sense to use C#, but as the team grew from 30 to over 100 and developers from different games started to join, as well as all the added benefits of using C++, it just seems like the best option. Now this is still an entire engine rewrite, so with this news came the news that 2023, the release date we were all secretly hoping for, is kind of out the window. They've just said that 2023 is not feasible at all, and they haven't actually given us a new date, which makes me think 2025 is probably the most reasonable guess for us at this point, which is crazy to think about considering how Hytale was ready to launch in 2019. The trailer dropped in December of 2019, and at that point they were ready to release the game multiple months after, but they were expecting on that trailer what, like 100,000 views, and it just went out of control, so they took their time to make the game better. That's just crazy to think about how far the game has come. They've got Riot, they've got 100 devs, it's just insane, and my hype keeps growing. Now the next thing they talk about is Hytale's new main modes. There are 3 modes: Creative, Multiplayer and Minigames, and the Adventure mode. Now Creative is where mods will be used. It features an entirely procedural world, not an island like Orbis. No, it's just a massive world, entirely random, entirely procedural, no story elements really. And it features all the advanced building tools, which we'll see actually later in this blog post. They are incredible. Now the next game mode will be Multiplayer, which will feature competitive minigames, social hubs, and avatar customization. Now one part of this that is actually quite scary is how they mention that this is an evolution of traditional Hypixel, which kind of hints to there being no third-party servers. Initially, most of us thought that Hypixel Studios would have one server and it would be the big main server that everyone would play. But from this, it just seems like the multiplayer aspect of this will exclusively be run by Hypixel Studios, which, if this is true, I think this is terrible. I think this is terrible news. The reason Minecraft's multiplayer is so varied is because of all the servers. You've got Hypixel, you've got Mineplex, you've got the UHC servers, you've got the hardcore PvP servers, you've got factions, you've got all of this. And without that, in Hytale, there will be almost no experimentation, and we won't really find out anything new. So I really hope for the future of this game that it is not just exclusively run by Hypixel Studios and their servers. I hope there are opportunities for third-party servers. Even if this is true, it kind of contradicts with a piece of news we did get a long time ago, which was this screenshot here, which does show a server browser that will probably end up containing a bunch of third-party servers. Now I am comparing a server browser to a line in a blog post, which I'm probably overreading, but the wording here just states that they have a true vision for what they want multiplayer to be, and if they try to enforce it too hard by not allowing third-party servers, I just think the game will suffer. And the last game mode, the one that we all know about, is Adventure mode. This will be a sandbox RPG set in Orbis and will be a curated experience with selective randomization. Now what does selective randomization mean? What I'm gathering from this is that there will be a mixture of story missions, of story POIs that are important to the narrative of the game, as well as randomly generated structures that will be different between playthroughs. Next up, they showcase some new UI elements. First, they show a load screen with a sword. I don't know what the sword means. I think that their multiplayer modes might have custom load screens, which is really cool. And next up, they show a health bar. Now, I just want to say this. Okay, don't kill me. I think this health bar looks poo. I think it looks crap. I hate it. Like, the overall design of it is fine, but when he takes damage, like, it turns green, and then it turns red, which is the same color as the rest of the health bar, but at the same time, it has a yellow outline. And then it shatters. I think this looks terrible, I'm going to be honest. It's 100% going to change, but at this point, I think it looks terrible, and I just hope it changes for the better. Like, the design of it is fine, the way it's structured, I think that looks perfectly workable, but I just hope it gets overhauled and simplified mostly. Now next, what they talk about is rediscovering Orbis. They show off some concept art here, as well as how it ties into some biomes that they are also working on. Now keep of note, here, all these biomes that they are showcasing are player made. These aren't randomly generated or anything. This isn't final. All these structures here were made by a player. So let's take a look at them here. Now first off, we're going to look at a hot spring in one of the ice zones. We can see a nice little ice truck taking a bath, and we can see all the hot springs going down the valley, and I think it looks cool. But here it is in game right here. We can see the pool actually has an orange border in here, and we can see the trees do actually match the ones in the concept art, which is cool. And even here, which wasn't in the concept art, was a little geyser with custom VFX, which I think will really help sell the biome here. Now next up, we get this really cool looking ice spike regions. Mountainous, it looks really windy, it just looks terrifying. This is like the end game of the zone, but here we see it in game, and it just looks really cool. Like those lights in the valley, everything about this zone looks absolutely incredible. I just love this. Now next up, we're going to look at an ice wave. Now this looks just like a wave that's been freeze frozen here in time. It looks great. It almost looks like a cloud. Here we see it in game. It still looks like a wave, just from a bit further back. It's a little less reflective, but I think that's fine. It still looks great. Look, it almost looks like a hand reaching out. I just think it looks really cool. Now next up, we're going to look at some of the desert zones here. We see a concept art for a massive flat white desert, which just looks like salt flats, and we get another view of it here. This part looks like the same thing, but a little more populated with life. And here it is in game. You can see just how flat and empty it is. It's massive, and I really like the attention to detail with those little fracture lines along the floor. It almost looks like a Voronoi noise texture. I think it looks great. Now next up, we get to take a look at the VFX editor and particles. Now looking at these, you can see how modders will use this to create just insane looking things. You can already see here, we got this little whirlpool looking thing, we've got fireworks, all this in engine with the inbuilt particle editor. I think it looks incredible. I think the bloom in this game looks kind of poo. Like, I just don't think it looks very good. I think hopefully the bloom gets updated. I don't think it looks very good, but I'm sure it will. But you can see just how powerful the system is to be able to use anything like magic effects, portal effects, all sorts. I just think it looks incredible. And we can see it being used here to fill up this toxic room. We can see the toxic gas on the floor, the green smoke from the fire, and the particles coming out like the little almost firefly looking things. You can see that gets the atmosphere. And just the sound design as well just really sells this part. Now next up, we have the advanced building tools. These are insane to watch. Like, imagine how easy it's going to be for players to just create massive worlds entirely custom. I think we're going to get open world mods with the same quality as the latest AAA open world games in terms of detail. It all just looks really easy, really intuitive, and I am so excited to see how modders will take this into the future. I am blown away by this. It all looks incredible. Also, and this wall right here. See how all it takes is a press of the button? That's just so crazy. It just looks so easy to make this stuff. It'll probably take a bit of time to set up, but once you've set it up, you can make massive custom worlds of incredible scale, and that is really exciting. And that's it for this blog post. We get a new music piece, which you probably heard at the beginning of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do have more Hytale videos, ideas in my head planned. Hopefully you'll see those in like a month or the coming weeks or so. Hope you did enjoy today's video. Leave a like if you liked it, leave a dislike if you disliked it, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you for watching, and tap out. Peace. See ya.